just the way it is. That's the way it is. Highly infectious, one of the most infectious diseases that anybody has ever seen. Not since 1917, over 100 years ago, has anyone seen anything like what we're witnessing now. But these states have also seen the virus substantially rebound, and again, no one is immune. No one is immune. These facts illustrate the imposing determinant, and it is a determinant that a blanket shutdown to achieve a temporary reduction in cases is certainly not a viable long-term strategy for any country. People are starting to understand the disease now. We certainly have understood a lot about the disease that we didn't have any idea. Nobody ever saw anything like this. The primary purpose of a shutdown was to flatten the curve, ensure sufficient hospital capacity, and develop effective treatments and therapies to reduce mortality. And we've done that, but it can come rearing back when you least suspect it. We did the right thing initially. We saved millions of lives. What we did the right thing. But a permanent shutdown would no longer be the answer at all. A small shutdown of certain areas, but we don't want to do that. Small shutdowns can be very helpful, but not for long periods of time. We understand what we're dealing with now, but it's a very complex situation. And I can only say, thank heaven that we are so advanced in what we're doing in terms of vaccines and therapies.
On this episode of Just Informed Talk, we're going to take a look at the latest new Q post, and Q wants us to define infiltration, and Q explains in great detail how the major infiltration of our government happened, what's going on behind the scenes, what's coming up ahead. You guys need to hear this information. It is vital. So stick around to check out that, plus Epstein documents released. We're going to dive into those, and we're going to cover a bunch of other news the fake news won't touch. So stick around and check it out. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Just Informed Talk. I'm your host, Craig. You guys know the drill. We always start by saying thank you to everyone who's hit that subscribe button. If you guys haven't done it, please come here, click the subscribe button, then hit that bell and select all so you get notified as soon as all these videos get posted. Plus, stick around. At the end of this show, we do a segment called God's Grace is Greater, where we talk about God's grace and how it is truly greater. So I hope you guys stick around to see that. It's an important segment we're doing today, talking about freedom of the Christian, or freedom through Christ, however you want to look at it. But you guys should stick around for that message. It's very important, and I hope you do. Today we're picking up right where we left off. We left off at 46:18, picking up with the latest two posts, 46:19, 46:20, and we have a lot to cover. Q explains in detail the infiltration of our government, how the President Trump's been set up from the inside, pretty much from day one, by the deep state sleepers who, he's been weeding out slowly but surely, but they were able to pull off, according to Q, a major deception that has put us in the position that we're in today. And we're going to talk about how we got here. So please, stick around for that. Before we get into that, though, this video is brought to you in part by Brave Browser. If you guys haven't tried this yet, go try it. It's free. It's an internet browser. It's got a built-in Tor browser. It blocks the ads. It's got a firewall and VPN, and it's free. Did I mention that? So use the link in the description. You can support this channel when you use that link to download it, install it, and run it on your laptop, your desktop, or your smartphone. And it's a better browser, better than Chrome, Firefox, Safari, whatever you're using. And I can't encourage you guys to use this anymore. So check out the Brave Browser using the link below. Now, let's get into the latest Q post. The first Q post we have is this Tucker Carlson clip from Fox News. And I'll just play it real quick, and you guys can watch that.
After 2 months of rioting and political chaos, there are still people out there who claim this is all about the death of George Floyd. Believe it or not, there are. Some of the people who say that may actually believe it. We're giving them the benefit of the doubt. The liberal mom who lives next door to you, for example. She's probably entirely sincere when she lectures you about the scourge of police brutality. She means it. She has no idea BLM is about anything else. We're not judging, and that's not surprising. Most Americans are nice people. They're literal and ingenuous. They tend to take claims at face value because they want to believe the best. But in this case, they are wrong. None of what you are watching is about civil rights. Violence and race baiting are the enemies of civil rights. What you're watching instead is a power grab. It's being coordinated by the most ruthless and cynical figures in American politics. They don't want you to know what they're doing. They're not honorable enough to state their intentions. They're not like you at all. When normal people want something, they can be aggressive. But the professional left never is. It's invariably passive-aggressive. Their first instinct is to manipulate rather than persuade. They hide their real beliefs. They say precisely the opposite of what they mean every time. They accuse you of the crimes they themselves are committing. It makes your head spin. Arguing with them is pointless, by the way. They're nihilists. They don't believe in the existence of truth or in the fixed meaning of words. They care only about power. It's painful to say this. It hurts to admit there are people in our country who are like this, but there are, and they have more power than ever. If you needed more evidence of that, Barack Obama showed up at Congressman John Lewis's funeral today. Obama claimed he was there to eulogize his own friend, but that's not true, and that's not what he did. Instead, Obama gave a divisive and deeply dishonest campaign speech in church. Here's part of what he said.
By ending some of the partisan gerrymandering so that all voters have the power to choose their politicians, not the other way around. And if all this takes eliminating the filibuster, another Jim Crow relic, in order to secure the God-given rights of every American, then that's what we should do.
It's hard to believe that clip is real, but it is, down to the cloying fake accent, Mr. Hawaii guy. But take 3 steps back. Imagine if some greasy politician showed up at your loved one's funeral and started throwing around stupid partisan talking points about Senate procedure. Can you imagine that? You would be shocked if that happened. You'd probably walk out. Desecrating a funeral with campaign slogans? What kind of person would do that? But Democrats in the audience didn't seem offended. They didn't blink. They cheered. It all seemed normal to them. And why wouldn't it? Political power is their religion. It's not out of place in a church. It's what they worship. People who will politicize a funeral will do anything, and they're trying to. Democrats are working systematically to dismantle the core institutions of American life, beginning with the family and with faith. They're subverting the core system in our government, the justice system. They're nullifying laws, burning police stations, attacking courthouses, working to eliminate the legal equality of American citizens, the foundation of it all. They've systematically repurposed federal law enforcement agencies as political weapons. They have imprisoned their political opponents. Their leaders have called for making all of these changes permanent by packing the Supreme Court, packing the United States Senate, packing the electorate itself by importing tens of millions of new voters. Why are they doing all of this? They'll tell you it's to make the country better and more just, but the country isn't improving and it's not fairer. They're doing this for one reason: to ensure they have complete control of the United States. We're watching it happen right now, though almost no one ever admits it, and those who do come close to getting shut down. We can tell you stories. So how should the rest of us respond to what we're seeing? And let's be clear, by the rest of us, we're not just talking about conservatives or people who watch the show. We're talking about literally everybody else. Moderates, the politically non-aligned, traditional liberals who still care about civil liberties. There are some of those. Sincere religious people of all faiths. Immigrants from abroad who came to this country because of our Bill of Rights, only to watch it evaporate once they got here. In other words, everyone who fundamentally loves this country, which is still most Americans. What do people like that do in the face of this revolution? Well, it's simple. Defend the system that we have. That's our job. The American system is flawed. No one doubts that. But it works better than any other system in history. And tearing it down will not help. In fact, it will benefit only a few, the ones pushing for it, and it will crush millions. So if you care about the United States, fight for its institutions. They have served us well. This country has survived almost 250 years through a civil war. Let's keep going. The president this morning vented his frustrations on Twitter about potential voter fraud in the upcoming election. He wrote this, quote, "With universal mail-in voting, not absentee voting, which is good, 2020 will be the most inaccurate and fraudulent election in history. It will be a great embarrassment to the United States." We don't know if that's true. We hope it's not. It could be, though. That's what the president wrote. And then he ended this way, quote, "Delay the election until people can properly, securely, and safely vote." End quote. Delay the election. Now, that was the headline across cable news today. And we should be clear, that will not happen. The election will almost certainly take place in November. But at this point, it's probably unwise to suggest changing the election, voter fraud or not. Too much is in flux already. That's not accidental. It's by design. A bewildered population dealing with change from every possible direction cannot fight back. That's why they're doing it. So our job is to defend what we already have as a nation and to promote the continuation of it. Keeping things the same has never been more important than it is right now.
So there you heard Tucker Carlson explaining in great detail the way that this insurrection has worked and what its end goals are. And he talks about President Trump's tweet at the end there. And he says, you know, we should fight for our country. We shouldn't delay the election. And of course, as we talked about in yesterday's video, President Trump's tweet was not about, you know, delaying the election. It was about forcing liberals to go on record, the Democrat leftists, these globalist insurrectionists who have taken over the Democratic Party, forcing them to say, no, we can't delay the election, so that in the same breath you can turn around and be like, okay, well then how can we have mail-in voting, because that will delay the election by days, right? Because you won't have any results. It'll be days afterward. There'll be pallets of ballots that are lost or found in some back room at some post office and some or some mail office or mail post workers truck that got forgotten or purposely left or thrown into a dumpster. It would be hectic. And then it's going to come under contention because people are going to say it's fraudulent and not real, because there's no way to verify these ballots that are coming in from who knows where, right? There's no polling station, so they're just coming out of the ether and appearing. And in California, I mean, there's maybe, I don't know, I think there's probably around 18 million people who could vote here. I think that's a rough number, and it might be more, it might be less. But the point is, if that's the case, there'll be 20 plus million people voting in California. There'll be 20 plus million ballots cast. So could you imagine that, though, what that can do to an election? So yeah, and then Q explains in great detail the infiltration that we've seen, saying this: infiltration, only those who can be controlled via blackmail or like beliefs were installed in critical leadership positions across all political and non-political control and command positions, CCP. CCP necessary to ensure protective blanket insurance, traitors everywhere, Democrat leadership in joint ops with China, CCP in effort to regain power. It was never about the virus. Sequence of events: Flynn first strike designed to 1. Cripple, 2. Prevent exposure of illegal acts, Hussein White House chain of command through national security intelligence discovery. 3. Install McMaster, removal of loyalist intel community, national security, install controlled rogue 2. Coates, DNI, prevent declass, House Senate blockade, pre-install, rogue 3 through 6, referrals to POTUS regarding McMaster, Coates, Ray, Bolton, +++, and I think that's referring to, the +++ is referring to Rothschilds, I believe, or, yeah. It says install controlled rogue 7 Bolton removal of loyalist intel community, national security intel community, national security, White House essential to control infiltration to prevent declass, public exposure of true events, illegal surveillance, Republican candidates, 1 and 2 House members, 1x, Senate members, 1x, journalists, 1x, ambassadors, 1x, and classified 1 through 99 events. Mueller installed Comey termination, loss of power, POTUS inside of a box, prevent counterattack, impeachment installed, Mueller termination, loss of power, POTUS inside of a box, prevent counterattack, C-19 insurance plan above fail, C-19 installed, impeachment termination, loss of power, POTUS inside box, prevent counterattack, C-19 stage 1, inform POTUS, Intel, CDC, WHO, plus senior advisors, nothing to fear, do not close travel, do nothing, the political setup, C19 Stage 2 informed POTUS of doomsday inaccurate scenarios, models predicting death counts 1 million plus, the political force lockdown, wipe economic and unemployment gains. COVID, or C19 Stage 3 activate controlled D-govs to spike death count and project statewide fear by presenting alarming on-ground conditions, hospital care supplies projections. C19 Stage 4 push testing to spike infected rate incline due to daily testing incorporated the political setup, or including the political setup, controlled MSDNC failure to report death count rates proportional to infected rate, deliberate miscounting of infected numbers, percentage, change non-positive to positive, labeled death of non-C19 as C19, etc. C19 Stage 5 eliminate, censor any opposing views, anti-narrative, ready when needed, activate 4-year BLM narrative, 4 power, uses division 2020 C19 infect rates to justify close limit until November 3rd. C19 calculated Democrat political gain. Eliminate record economic gains. Eliminate record unemployment gains. Shelter Biden from public appearances. Limit exposure of mental condition. Shelter Biden from Ukraine exposure narrative. Media focus C19. Shelter Biden from presidential debates. Requested demands due to C19. Delay Democrat convention. Strategic takeover of nominee post-conference. Eliminate delay POTUS rallies. Terminate energy. To eliminate ability to for people to gather, divide. Eliminate ability to find peace, strengthen time of need, strict church closures. Promote mail-in voting as only safe method, bypass NSA election security, installed midterms. Push state bailout stimulus, California, New York, plus wish list items. Increase national debt. Place China into controlling debt position, regain leverage. Test conditional limits of public acceptance, obey. Test conditional limits of public non-acceptance. Test conditional limits of state authority, governor, mayor. Test conditional limits of media, social censorship. Who benefits the most? Democrats. China CCP. Russia is the enemy. China is our friend. MSDNC social media programming. All assets deployed. Everything seen yesterday, today, and tomorrow calculated in equals calculated political moves, events, designed and launched by Democrat Party in coordination with other domestic and foreign entities in an attempt to regain power over you, prevent accountability, shadow presidency, Hussein, shadow government, information warfare, insurgency, your voice and your vote matters. Patriots stand united. Welcome to the revolution. Q. Wow. Okay, there's a lot here. There's a heck of a lot here. And if I got a few things wrong, please forgive me. But let me see if I can break this down for all you guys out there who are following along as readily as others who may have got that perfectly well. This is the plot to destroy America, and they're doing it. Our country has been infiltrated. There's an active insurrection going, and these criminals are making their move. They infiltrated the White House. They lied and deceived whoever they needed to gain positions of power, to pull off this strategic, coordinated attack on our republic. We're at war with these people. And I hate to say it, but look at this. The facts are what they are. He gives us all the stages of what this C19 does, right? They told President Trump, all of his advisors, nothing to fear, no big deal, right? Then, when President Trump was like, all right, we'll keep an eye on it, they come back and say, oh, millions and millions of people are going to die. You have to shut everything down. Okay, so he shuts everything down. Then, it turns out that during all of that, it was their final plan, right? It was their fail-safe in case the impeachment didn't work. Because they have nothing. These people are criminals. They don't know how to make America better. They hate President Trump because he's making America great again. They don't know how to make this country better. They just know how to destroy it and enslave its population like conquerors. Okay? So if you think in your mind for 1 second that these people are going to back down, I think you're crazy. I think that I have a bridge to sell. You know what I mean? And look at this insidious, nefarious, evil plot to destroy this country through this insurrection and this virus, right? They activated their Dem governors to spike the death counts. What was that? The nursing homes, Oh, they pushed testing, right? So we have all these tests, but then they don't talk about the plummeting mortality rate. No. They keep telling you it's record-breaking infections, infection rate through the roof, so they can scare people and divert away from the declassification of the documents that prove President Trump had a literal coup ran against him by criminals inside of our government who think they're above the law, obviously, and think they can weaponize our intelligence services to literally try to spy on and frame the opposing political party. So Democrats think, and if they get control again, ladies and gentlemen, mark my words, you will never have freedom. Listen to what Tucker said, right? If they get control, our freedoms are gone. You might as well just flush the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, all the rest of them. You might as well just flush all that down the toilet, because as soon as they take back power, these people are ruthless, vicious, vile criminals. They're the evilest people. There's only so many adjectives I have in my brain to describe the level of evil, the level of demonic, satanic, just visceral, vile evil that these people hold and contempt they have and disdain for you and us, me, us, all of us together, right? So then they were going to censor all of our opposing. That's where we're at. We're in the stage where the doctors go up and say, look, we need to talk about this. This is crazy. You're going to destroy this country over a virus because of what? Because of the fake news and their lies? Because Dr. Fauci, who's a complete moron, who gets up and makes statements that contradict each other all the time, and nobody calls him out on it because he's their little lapdog puppet who's going to tell the world, through his edicts as if he's like some pope or something of medicine to us. Yeah, now they just censor us. I just had my Twitter, I had a viral video that was retweeted by the president, and they deleted it, suspended my account, and deleted the president's tweet. Imagine that. Imagine this psychotic world that we live in. Then they activate their BLM terrorists to go out in the streets and, sow racist, violent rhetoric out and burn down cities, right? What were the political gains? They destroyed all the economic gains that President Trump built, even though he's working to build it back now. All the unemployment gains were destroyed, so President Trump couldn't have those as talking points. So, do you think they want to make America better? Do you think they want record economic gains or record unemployment gains? No, they want to control you. They want to enslave you, me, all of us. Okay, sheltering Biden, this spineless coward Biden, who doesn't do anything. I've never seen him put together a coherent sentence that is not obviously scripted and he's reading off a teleprompter. Could you imagine him in a debate? He'd get torn to shreds. And I think they're going to try to replace him at the end anyway. They're going to try to sneak in probably Clinton and Michelle Obama or something at the end. Yeah, mark my words, because they know he's not going to win on his own, at least not without their criminal insurrection. This is beyond crimes against humanity. This is crimes against the world, the globe. Our entire freedom as itself is under attack, right? I guess you could say that's part of humanity, but I'll tell you what, these people are psychotic criminals. And then you get censored when you call them on it. And when you provide all the detailed explanations for how their plan is working, they just go, oh, you're a crazy conspiracy theorist. You don't know what you're talking about. Right? I mean, and this whole virus, by the way, has shifted the narrative away from the Ukraine deals, the China deals, that Hunter Biden was involved with, his son, where they're getting kickbacks. These people are the modern equivalent of the most disgusting, inept royal class, if you will, of just useless people who don't know how to make things better. They only know how to deceive and how to manipulate and how to take control by any means necessary and enslave those who they view as less than them, which is pretty much the rest of us. We're less than them in their minds. We're inferior. Listen to the rhetoric that these people push. Nick Cannon, one of their little idols, their little minions, because, they want you to worship the idols, follow the stars. White people are inferior. because of the melanin. Whatever that means, it doesn't mean anything except that he's a racist and that I don't feel that way about anybody. I don't think your skin color determines who you are, how you are in any way. It's the content of your character. When did we just flip that switch off and just ignore that? This is psychotic. This is psychotic. I don't know what to say. I'm laughing because it's either laugh or scream or cry, right? There's only the three things you could do in this. And I'm trying to just stay cool. I'm cool. I'm collected. I'm calm. But this is psychotic. This is like the most evil thing you could imagine. And this is military intelligence of the President of the United States through this back channel giving us this information. They close our churches down because they want to divide us. I can't go to church. I have to stand outside and stand 6 feet away and maybe barely hear the pastor speaking, from a mile away. And these people can get out and get 100,000 people in the streets shoulder to shoulder. And the media just goes, yay, peaceful protest. It's so beautiful, isn't it? This is democracy, as they burn down buildings and commit violent hate crimes against people. This is psychotic, people. Wow. Mail-in voting, we know what's going to happen there. Because we have NSA security, election security. How do you secure every mailbox in the United States of America? You can't. They'll literally stuff the mailboxes with these ballots. They needed to get their bailout money to California, New York, so they could do their continue to fund these useless leaders who do nothing except virtue signal and are the worst kind of leaders you could ever imagine, who have these huge funds that they control, and they just redirect all the money to their friends and pals. Yeah, test conditional limits of how much we'll take. Will we obey? Will we accept it? Can the governors and mayors become tyrants and nobody says anything? Can social media just start deleting your voice and you not do anything? Yeah. That's what this is. You can read it, for yourself again, but I'll tell you, there's even more there that we could pick apart maybe a little bit later, but yeah, it's pretty big. I want to talk about this Antifa militant arrested for stabbing a black Trump supporter in Portland. They're talking about how this possibly was a coordinated effort, a hit. These people are psychotic. They're crazy. DAs backed by Soros and other liberal activists joined fray and clash with police. This was all sown. The division has been sown and paid for in part by George Soros himself. Now, this is the big story. The real bad guys in the Epstein case uncovered. Director Robert Mueller's FBI. Now, this has a bunch of documents. I can't go through each and every one of them. Talks about MIT scientist here who was doing some disgusting things on the island. It goes through it all. I'll leave a link to this article. I want you guys to read this article for yourself. It's a very well put together overview of the latest documents that were released from the Jeffrey Epstein case, which just came out yesterday, which exposed these sick pedophile criminals and how they're all hanging out with, Bill Clinton, and they're having these parties and they're running their criminal enterprise out of Harvard University. It's insane. Again, psychotic. These people are psychotic, but evil is psychotic, I guess. So I don't know why I'm that surprised, right? So, yeah. I'm going to leave that there for you guys. Links to everything will be in the description. That's pretty much where we're going to wrap it up. Remember to come here, hit this, or hit the subscribe button, obviously, watch these videos, share them, and leave your thoughts, theories, and insights below. I want to hear what you guys have to say about it all. Also, don't forget I'm on Twitter still, for now, at JustinFormU. You can come follow me over there, and at informed_news. And don't forget to check out the new channel, Just Informed Clips, where we have clips that matter to you that you should go check out. Also, I'm on Parlor at Just Informed Talk, and BitChute.com is the backup channel. I've caught up on the videos here, so they're up to date. So if you want to go over there, it's just another alternative to YouTube. And also I have JustinFormedNews.com, the official website for Just Informed Talk. And if you want to help support this channel and keep it alive, I have Patreon, Patreon.com. It's a crowdfunding website. Your support, your monthly donation here keeps this channel alive and going, and I'm so thankful to every one of you. I also have a GoFundMe set up if you guys want to help keep this channel alive and running, because they've done everything they can to put it out of business. But you guys have kept me going. Without your support here, I couldn't do this every day. So I'm thankful, and you guys keep this engine running. And I'm just going to keep working hard every day for this country and for God first and foremost, and my family and you guys and us all together. So I'm here with you guys every day, and I'm doing my best. So thank you for all your support. Now, before we go, we do a segment at the end called God's Grace is Greater, where we talk about God's grace and how it is truly greater. Today, I have a very special verse I want to share with you, and it's out of the book of Galatians, chapter 5, verse 1. It's a very simple verse, but it's so profound and meaningful. It says, Christ has liberated us into freedom. Therefore, stand firm and don't submit again to a yoke of slavery. Wow. Now, let me break that down real quick for you guys, just to give you an idea of what that means. Christ has liberated us into freedom. How did he do that? Because he went and he died on that cross. And he died for every one of our sins into eternity, so that we may have this beautiful eternal salvation with him and the Father and the Holy Spirit in heaven. And we all have that as long as we open our hearts to Christ and we turn our lives over to him, and we do our best to work hard and treat others well. That's ours. That's already been bought and paid for. But it says then, don't submit again. Or it says, therefore stand firm. So that means we have to take a stand in our faith. And it says, don't submit again to a yoke of slavery. So what's a yoke? A yoke is like what you would put on an ox to pull like a cart or to pull like a plow through a field. So a yoke is like it's supposed to mean like the yoke is your chains, your bondage. Don't submit to the yoke of slavery. Stand firm in your faith to Christ and God and the Holy Spirit, and proclaim it out to the mountaintops. Go to your churches, stand up to these tyrants, fight back wherever you can, legally and lawfully, and make sure that you guys put Christ first in your heart and share that with others. That's my mission for all of you. Go out and do it now, because time is running out and our country needs each and every one of you. So God bless you all. Thank you for watching. That's it for me. Remember to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button if you guys like this content and want to see me make more. That's it. Have a great evening. This is Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.